more women graduate from universities than men. We have fantastic women graduated and then they disappear somewhere. Yeah. And I think that this is a really shameful wasting of talents. That is a chapter that we should remove the stereotypes and change the mindset of the society, which only sees the role of the woman in its traditional shape from, I would say, 19th century. This is what is a problem. And I'm mentioning that because this is exactly where we need the creative industry, and when we need art and culture and media to work against this trend. So this is my order. Yeah, we are paying part of it, no? So I could order something. No, take me seriously. I really wanted to mention this because it also illustrates that although European Union is a good address for women, we still have a lot of work to do. And when I see this backsliding and this new trend, when we really have to listen to all those who would like to come back to the 19th century because it's comfortable to see a woman in her 19th century traditional role. It's comfortable for many. I have to declare here, we cannot do much through legislation. We can do something through the funding, and we can do a lot through media, through culture, through education. So please do something in that direction. Stop me. I know I have 8 minutes. Do I still have some time? 3 minutes?
Yeah, yes, you can say. I just wanted to say that I'm stunned by how frank you are, because it's so rare to hear someone in your position, in the political world, to speak so frankly. So I'm kind of amazed that I'm sure a lot of people are as well. But so please go on.
I sometimes make fun of very serious things.
But it's great, and because we also know that you walk the talk, as we say, so you actually do make things happen.
I promised some figures just as an inspiration to illustrate that there is still work to be done in Europe. So from the point of view of economics, gender pay gap is stubborn in Europe, still at 16%. Even though more women graduate from universities than men. We have fantastic women graduated and then they disappear somewhere. Yeah. And I think that this is a really shameful wasting of talents. This is not only unfair that we are not creating conditions for women to have good job and at the same time to have a family. For me to be a mother, it was the greatest role I have ever had. Yeah, but this is about enabling conditions. So this is not only unfair. This is economically stupid, because this is lost investment. If you want me to be cynically economist, expressing it as an economist, which I am not.
It's a pleasure to have you. I mean, you're a front runner in Belgium, and I wanted to know what prompted you to found this great feminist news project.
I think it was just a reflection about the evolution of the society. With Me Too, it was really necessary to go with all the reflection about equality, and people needed it. So as a public service, we thought that it was the moment to talk about gender issues, specifically in mainstream media.
And do you feel, I mean, you've been working in the industry for so long, that there's been some evolution? Because it seems that journalism is still, I mean, the news media industry, and especially broadcasters, are still dominated by white males.
I think it's always a question of stereotypes. We think that we have to fight stereotypes, but I think that we have to unbuild them, because if you just think that you will erase stereotypes, you will solve the problem, but it's more complicated because they are invisible hierarchy and also horizontal segregation. And you have to work deeply in the media, get to the core and put diversity and equality in every level of decision, to put women in key decisions, for instance, or in the heart of the narrative. And so for me, in the media, it's the first thing to do is to work about unconscious bias. And because we are, everyone, we all around us, no one think that he is or she is sexist or even racist, but we are partial, and we have to work on that all together with the male, the white male also. We have to work together to reach a better and a better society and a better environment.
And now I have a question actually for Delphine. I wanted to ask you, through your work at the advocacy group 50/50, what pushback are you getting from the industry, where quotas are of course banned? I mean, no one wants quotas in France, and positive discrimination, affirmative actions are almost taboo. How are you overcoming those challenges?
Well, actually, yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, when we started, because before Collectif 50/50, there was another organization called Le Deuxième Regard, which we launched in 2013, and everybody was looking at us with crazy eyes, like, well, what is the issue? So at least now the issue is been defined, and it's on the agenda when it comes to gender equality, because we have figures, and it's very clear. I mean, you can say, like Vera was mentioning earlier, I mean, there are today in Europe around 50% women graduating from film schools, and yet there is 1 in 5 films only, so 20% films directed by women. So at some points, those women just simply disappear. And like Hin was actually saying, of course, this difficult, let's say, tricky time of maternity, of course, is always a moment. So it's not just that they disappear, but they usually disappear after 1 or 2 films. And the difficulty is really to stay, to have a long career as men and work as much as men. So it's a lot of difficulties that women have to overcome. But all of this now has been quite established. Of course, there are still people, pretending that there is no problem and it's all about, the times that are changing, so there's nothing to be done. But actually, we've heard that for so many years, that actually, if you don't push actively for something, nothing happens. But I would say that the more difficulty we encounter is on the global thematic of inclusion and diversity, because in this area in Europe, we can't have figures. So we can't count. And from the moment we can count, people say, well, there is no problem. It's always the same. I mean, oh yeah, but there are black people in the industry. And then they name,
that's a big problem.
And then they're going to name 3 people, and they'll be like, okay, so we have black people. What's the problem? Well, you just named 3 people out of like an ocean of people. So it was the same with women at first, but at least for women, we could easily, I mean, the figures are easy. It's 50/50, and then you get the figures that you get. And, but for the rest, it's much harder.